Hello everyone, it's a beautiful Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I'm Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I never do this alone. I have the ladies in the building.
Good morning, Mariah.
So it's good to eat breakfast. You know, it gives you
I
energy.
was just going to say, look at Mariah. She's excited because she
it gives
has
you
some...
Monday morning energy. How are you doing? So, well, how was your weekend?
The weekend was good. So we went to write our assessments to get into the school. Little Samuel is going to enroll in the older one's school finally.
So they're going to be enrolling with their children.
Yes, and I'm really, really excited. I'm praying everything works out because a lot of people are jostling for the slots.
But I thought that for if you have kids in school, it's
I thought
automatic.
so too. Apparently, the past 2 years we've been trying, and the procedure, everybody must follow the rights. Like they are very, very stringent with their procedure over there.
For real?
Except you enter as in reception or pre-reception, but when you're getting into like nursery 1, you have to go through everything. You write the assessment. All the kids went, and I'm wondering, what is Samuel, 3-year-old, writing for 1 hour? So
that's what happened with us now. Did the exam?
They went to write some tests and all of that, but we've not gotten the results yet. We're waiting.
So you're hoping?
Yes, I'm hoping. But T-Smart did something that was very, very impressive. So she's been working with me with my business, and she did a secret shopper thing for me. So she came to my studio and did a recording as she was coming in and made observations of all that she experienced getting to the studio, the response from my staff, the feedback on the makeup, and a detailed report. I'm like, wow, who does this? Like, I have to shout out.
For you or for the public?
No, for me, to let me understand what is wrong in my business and how I can do better. And so, like,
I'm undercover.
She went, like, they don't know her, so she just went there like she was going to do makeup, and she asked from downstairs, and she was gauging the response of everybody from the security, like, how responsive were they? And so I can understand what an average client would go through coming into the studio.
Fantastic.
And I never thought of it, so I'm really, really grateful. I'm happy that she did that, because like, I know where I can, the places we would work on.
That's
you know.
good, good. She's smart.
And she didn't even tell me. She just did it.
Better not to tell you.
So I won't prepare.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Busy weekend. So my husband, in order to sort of, make it up to me, asked me out yesterday. Took me out to a Rotary thing where I met Mariah and her husband as well. Yeah. It was nice.
What happened?
I mean, it was a Rotary thing, it was a Rotary friendship, whatever.
I was minding my business. My CEO told me to go and represent him, to go and collect the award. They gave TVC award. And I must say this. Channels are still claiming a 10th. Like, every year they're the best channel. And I told them, sorry, we took it from channels last year.
Yes,
TVC was TV Channel of the Year last year, 2019 and 2018. I had to correct the organizer. I said, Oga channels, am I lying? Tell me, am I lying?
Yeah.
You know, just laugh. They say, hey, so please correct them. This is the 14th year. We'll go back to the drawing board to see who's going to win. Because at least, well, it was good for us, both channels to be there. And we're also honored with NTA.
Well, I sort of enjoyed myself. I always look at this Rotary like old men stuff.
Oh, and was it?
No, it was okay. The only thing is that I pray Nigerians, please, when we go for an event, let's try and just keep quiet. And when people are making a speech, let's listen more. We talk too much over the person making speeches.
When you don't know them.
It's not about knowing them. You come for an event,
just talk.
Just don't keep talking and talking and talking. It was so noisy over the sound of the speech maker.
You were busy this weekend. I know you had lots of events to go. How did you manage?
I only went for one. I couldn't do the... I was here in TVC in the morning and they were still setting up. So I went for the Dare to Inspire.
Did you see this speaker in TVC?
No, I did it. I tried to catch up on in the evening on the TV. But I went to inspire young people.
You were inspired.
And I was inspired. The main speaker, Ini Abimbola,
Ini is hot.
Killed the topic, and thank God she put it in perspective for the Muslim minds to understand. People are still, a lot of people said, Nima, look up to, it's about the popularity, and even I am trying to ground myself. So I had to make them understand that.
Who's Ini?
Ini Abimbola is a consultant, an IT business consultant, expert, and all that. I've told her she has to be on Your View. So we are dragging her. She's shy. She's saying, no, TV, no, you have to be on Your View. Shout out to the organizers of Dare to Inspire. They tried. The young lady, Kabira Fadipe, were on the same panel as me. So those of us in media, myself, Fatima Momo, and her were all on the same panel. And I was amazed at the place where people had inspiration. But I was inspired by Ini. I was inspired by a young lady who came out to talk about her epilepsy. And I was shocked. she was, you know, they just, at some point, okay, the moderator from my own panel, Morikoko, was talking to her to ask volunteers to come out and talk about their situations that they're battling.
Okay.
And say things that they're battling privately that, you know, they should
And
affirm that they will overcome. And then she affirmed that, you know, she has overcome epilepsy, she has a spasm. You know, I just had to go hug her. I went home thinking about her. I still thought about her this morning. I felt really inspired. People have real issues. And we should stop thinking, you know.
Exactly. So when you talk about all these mundane issues, you remember that there are real issues out there.
Battling epilepsy.
She has an online business. She talks.
She'd like to come on the show, do you know? Let's see if we can bring it, because it's important that people should actually understand what people go through. But when you hear all those people's story, maybe you just thank God for your blessings.
You just calm down.
You just calm down.
No, she's even doing things against the odds. Some people will just say, because of this, I won't do anything.
Fantastic. All right, we have to go on a break. I don't have time to share my own stories. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Today, let's start with Daily Sun. Senate leadership tussle gets messy. Allegation of arrest plots before inauguration unsettles National Assembly. Ndome Lawan's camp in intense lobby over voting method. FG alleged security breach plot diversionary, says PDP. LG joint account, that's local government joint account. Call NFIU to order, governor urged Buhari. Boko Haram Kayode tackles Lamido over Obasanjo. FG playing politics with Apepa gridlock, says Sanwo-Olu, Lagos governor-elect. Okay, which story are we taking?
Maybe we should just discuss the major headline and get it away with, because we've refused to talk about the Senate for a long time, but they've refused to leave the headlines. So the tussle is going on between Senator Ahmed and Senator Ahmed Lawan and Senator Ali Ndume, and both of them from APC. The APC party has endorsed Lawan, but Ndume isn't backing down. And so the tussle right now is concerning how they want to do the elections when they get sworn in next month. The current standing procedure is the 2015 one where it is secret, and that's the one that Ali Ndume wants the Senate to adopt going forward. But there are speculation, because it's not a fact, because even Lawan has said that he's not pushing for anything, he's okay and he's confident, but they're saying that he's trying to swap back to the 2011 operation where it was open, where everybody knows who voted for who. And some people want the secret, some people want the open. Whichever way, I think that for you to make any difference in the National Assembly, you need to be able to lobby. And so whoever lobbies and wins should remember that it was voted for to serve the people and should do what is most important at the end of the day.
Let's move on. It's an internal issue that is going on there. Let's move on.
But like, serve us, please.
To Vanguard.
Yeah.
Someone to Vanguard. Oh, it's all over the papers. It's in Punch. Take it in Punch. So it's Sanwo-Olu is in Punch, right?
Yeah,
oh, no, let's take Sanwo-Olu now, because we'll take the hospital in Punch.
Yes.
So the governor-elect, or incoming governor of Lagos State, is telling us that he will end gridlock 60 days. Do you believe him?
Yes, it's doable. The present governor did it. I don't know why he backed down. And the former governor, Fashola, also did it. So I think it's workable.
It's not about doing it, it's about sustaining it.
Yeah. No, I'm going somewhere. The situation in Apapa is simply worsened by corruption. There's a serious cartel making money from the traffic gridlock there and causing that hardship. I keep saying it. Those people making money know your money is without blessing. God is going to take out the goodness from that money. So the hardship is costing life. One way is now a norm. People are dying.
So what is this? Sanwo-Olu say what he wants to do.
He says that this is a federal government issue, and within 60 days when he gets into office, they're going to deliberately work on it.
So I feel he's shooting himself. You've not even gotten into power yet.
No, I don't think so. I think
and you're promising 60 days. So everybody is now waiting for the first 60 days in office. I think that...
My own is, if we can do it in 60 days, just tell Ambode what to do so that we can get it over and done with.
2 weeks,
I know, let's start now.
If he's able to do it, but it's not, for me, it's not about doing it, it's about sustaining it, because lots of governors have done it, as you said. But the idea is that these tankers,
they clear it for 1 day, 2 days.
They tell us there's a parking space available. They move the trucks and put them there, and everybody's happy. Within a week or two, they're back on the road. So it's beyond just doing it, sir. But let's move on to Vanguard.
Counting. So every...
Stomp over Obasanjo's stance on Fulanization agenda. Local government funds, Fala and Ogbakogba disagree as governors ask Buhari to call NFIU to order. Atiku demands 500 million naira damages from Buhari's aid for defamation. Kokori, industrial action looms as Ngige, Lupend, tango over unions' finances. My uncle rated 11th of the 50 world's greatest leaders.
Who is
That's
your uncle?
Our uncle Dangote. Yeah, he's not our uncle. Our uncle Dangote rated 11th of the 50 world's greatest leaders. Suspected robbers kill Igbenedion University lecturer. Oh, I didn't read that story. Scores killed, many injured as Boko Haram fires rocket launcher into Borno scam. Let's talk about this Fulanization. I think it's Fani Kaide was speaking. Go ahead.
No, this is the former governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Sule Lamido, was saying to Obasanjo, who had made a statement at an event in the Anglican Church and saying that the problems that's happening with cattle, the cattle headers and, you know, Boko Haram and all the terrorism or security issues going has to do with the word Fulanization and the Islamization of West Africa. So the governor, the former governor, is saying that I have so much respect for Obasanjo and I do not have a problem with him criticizing the president on governance issue, but this is such a sensitive, you know, matter. You do not bring people's religion into something like this. And I think
Fanika responded. He's saying that that if there's anybody that has actually fought for the North in any way, even the Fulani group is Obasanjo, that he's speaking from his heart. He's pointing out his heart, and he shouldn't be put down for speaking the truth, quote unquote. But your thoughts on that?
This issue on Islamization has gone on for too long, misleading people and putting us at the receiving end of, you know, people's fear and what we call Islamophobia. Yes. People start to react to us, not knowing these things are just figments of people's imagination. If you cannot, you know, substantiate that point, don't come out in public and say it in such reckless way, especially when you have the clout to influence people and, you know, mislead people.
Someone like Fanika is saying, for someone like an Obasanjo to say it, that's the issue. It carries a bit of weight.
You know,
so
Fani Kaide
is
someone who loves to trend on these kind of things carelessly and doesn't give any care whether, you know, the consequences or how damning it will be. This is a nation that, you know, has to exist with their differences, and you should be careful when you say such a thing, even if you're Obasanjo, even if you have...
Because the more they say it, it actually embers that flame. People start thinking, you don't know what people who are Muslims, who are wearing hijabs, they go through every single day. When you come across somebody and they're already judging you based on front headlines. So we need to be careful with our utterances. Let's pick one more story. Yes, go ahead.
Of the feedback from the NFIU. So the NFIU statement on local government.
You know, we didn't know who NFIU was last couple of weeks. They're like so trending. Go ahead, talk. Let me know.
So the NFIU has made a statement that local government should have autonomy and issued that their money should be paid directly to them and all of that. The Nigerian Governors Forum spoke up concerning this through their representative, the chairman, who is outgoing governor of Zamfara State, mentioned that the NFIU has no rights. They have constitutional rights to make a pronouncement. It is beyond their purview that they have been set up as an investigative and financial crime fighting agency and not to determine how the funds for local government should be spent or who it should go to. But we've had two legal luminaries speaking up. So the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Agbakoba, said that while the NFIU has a right to discuss issues on finances, this is overstepping their boundaries. And the former vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Monday Ubani, also now says that the NFIU have a right to discuss this. This is a major issue that they can look into. And what they should do is, he's not totally supporting NFIU, but he's saying that they should say this to fight corruption because he speculated that governors have been using their autonomy and the right they have over local government funds to carry out and spend money meant for local government.
The contentious issues here are the state and local government joint account.
But it's legal.
So it is legal now because it's backed by constitution, which is why I said there's hope. So the National Assembly, the incoming one, if the outgoing one is too weak to do the right thing, the incoming one should do the needful and legitimize this because this is the right way to go.
And also there are two different issues. There's the independence of the judiciary and legislature, which is really different from the issue of local government. So a lot of people actually support the independence of the judiciary and legislature. However, the governors are still opposing they're saying that the local governments are their business, not a federal. It doesn't really concern the federal government. That they are the ones that can determine. I think.
But how will Lagos State handle it? Lagos State has 26 official local governments, and then we have 40 LCDs.
For many years.
And which is why they fought for this local government funds to come to them, so that they can disperse it to the 40. So when we have situations like this in other states, how do they resolve? So there's a whole lot of legal issues that need to be constitutionally reviewed.
Lagos State is just one state.
Let's move on to the Punch. Governors neglect healthcare as state hospitals rot away. And Punch has done a fantastic job of going to various states, taking pictures. You know, we need to be shaming these governors like this because they go out and talk a lot of English and they travel abroad and you see their individual states, how the hospitals have been totally dilapidated. So it's good that Punch has put this on front page, and these are the kind of stories we want to see on front page, not politicians' faces. These are real stories. So well done to Punch for that. Ogun community accuses Christ Embassy of land grabbing. Islamicization, we talked about that already. Let's move on. School gardener arrested for beating Wasi's candidate to death. I'll end about gridlock, says Sanwo-Olu. NFIU guideline on local government funds illegal, says governors. And let's pick one more story. Outgoing lawmakers move property out of National Assembly before Hong Kong. Okay, so let's take the hospitals. Go ahead.
So the Punch reporter went to all general hospitals across states. You
mentioned a few states.
Ogun State, Cross River State, Anambra State, reporting the situation of all the hospitals, saying that, you know, they are already, as it is now, they're not properly set up to give medical care. Because elsewise, the state of their toilets, and you could see on the front page, the pictures of some of the hospitals, the state of the toilets. But this is beyond government. The people using the toilet as well should bury their heads in shame.
Exactly.
If they can leave it in this state.
So when your governor says he's traveling abroad for medical treatment, please show him exactly how your toilets, how the toilets in your own hospitals look.
What we've said many times, where you have people getting treatment on the passage, people having treatments, people getting treatment with drip hanging on the ball gallery because they don't have bed space and they don't have facility.
Sorry, not on this story. I wanted to quickly refer to the Sanwo-Olu story. So someone was speaking at a lunch by his MBA set in Unilag, hosting him to a congratulatory lunch and giving him setting agenda that these are the things that he should go. I think now it's not about my friend will become governor. What about the contract? Make sure that your setmate in office does not disgrace you by not doing the needful for hospitals and all that. We should not continue to be associated with success without, you know, ensuring you're sustaining that success.
I was wondering how you're going to link it. But okay, go ahead.
There's a human interest story in Punch. The school gardener Femi Aderomu. He allegedly beat a student to death, a student of Jubril Martins Memorial Grammar School in Iporin. The boy had just finished writing his West African school examination, and on his way back, this gardener accosted him for being rude to him or something some time ago, and he beat him up. And by the time they took him to the hospital, he was pronounced dead. So he's been arrested. The family has come out. The sister came out on social media saying that the school allegedly wanted to hide it, but, you know, they found out about it.
Eyewitnesses?
Yes, and pupils who were around at the time that told the family about it.
I actually know the hospital he was taken to. I used to use that hospital. It's really, really sad story. And I hope, see, no matter how you prosecute him, the boy is dead. That's the sad story about Nigeria.
But if you can trace back to what happened between, what's the mental state of the man? No, you can't be that.
Even the boy, because he was just unconscious. So they beat him up until he was actually unconscious and eventually died in the hospital. So it was probably weak already. Moving on now to daily trusts. Residents groan as water scarcity persists in states. Again, no water. I think it's Katsina State, our president's state.
Many states.
Don't be a bigot, Sule Lamido tells Basanjo. And picture here of Borno's governor that has just built 44 mega schools.
Where are the teachers?
I don't even know. I mean, it's a good initiative. We just hope that there are teachers and they can sustain it, because it's one thing to start. It's never, our governors have never been able to continue and sustain these good feats, but hopefully, but they look really good though.
Yeah, there's a good story. Let's not marry it with our...
That's where Boko Haram is.
Yes, so they're doing a lot of good work there.
Fantastic.
But there's a story of scarcity, water scarcity in many states.
Is it many states or Katsina?
No, many states across Nigeria. There's Katsina, there's Kano, Gombe, all river states, you know, everywhere. And it's a story of either pumping machines are not working, boreholes not working. In Kano, a particular local government haven't seen proper water through their taps in 2 years. So we're asking the government. I mean, yes,
we have water
exactly. We have water
It's just because everybody
everywhere
is
across
sorting
Nigeria.
themselves out with pumping machine doesn't mean like...
Okay, our last about the nation. Governors lose more amid battle for local government funds. Picture here of Dalong. Let's go dancing. He's dancing with his cultural...
Which is good.
They are doing that. Dancers were doing the N10 Cultural Festival in Jos. And our uncle is the 11th greatest leader.
Yeah, so
Dangote, you won't
Dangote...
leave this story.
No, let me just
like,
quickly take it. It's a good
please take it,
story.
yeah.
Dangote has been ranked 11 among 50 world leaders. And the basis of this is people that have used their business to acquire wealth and have now, in turn, used the wealth to empower people. And that under his foundation, the number of people that his foundation has helped for medical treatment, starting businesses, and building
Please,
schools.
clap for our
So,
uncle,
like,
clap for our uncle.
he's number 11. That is fantastic,
fantastic.
considering that he's not even that high when it comes to
Fantastic.
being the richest in the world.
Well, one of
But
these-
he's doing well with his
One
wealth.
of these days, we'll meet
Can we
Uncle
do that in
Dangote.
Zembiram story?
No,
And
we
I-
can't. We've lost it. We have to go on a break. When we come back, lots of hot topics, especially those ones that want to embarrass Nigerians in America. Stay with us. Right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, the Bauchi State House of Assembly passed a bill to repeal the law on the recovery of looted public funds and properties. The bill was passed on the floor of the House with 13 members out of 31 in attendance. Now, it's important for us to discuss this because the governor hasn't assented to this, so it's important that when Nigerians speak up, hopefully the lawmakers can think twice. But please call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So when we saw this bill, it was shocking. Dr. Can you give us a breakdown of this bill again for those who don't know?
So the people of the House of Assembly in this state agreed within 13 people, which is out of 31, to speedily go through the first, second, third reading of a bill that would ensure that, contrary to what is on ground, which is that if you are a state governor and you, after your, you have immunity when you are a governor, you can be probed to confirm if you've stolen any funds and all of that. This bill prevents the state governor from being prosecuted or even searched into to find out if he's stolen any funds from the state. So that is what the bill is about.
So, sorry, just to clarify, the bill is to stop. There's a tribunal that has been set up by this governor in 2017 to look into looted funds. And it's not just by the governor, organizations and individuals as well. So this same governor who did not come in for second term, he's been kicked out by, someone coming. Looks like he's trying to cover his tracks. So what he had set up before in 2017, he's trying to stop from doing what was initially set up to do. Yeah.
But let me come to you, Nima, because you will think that there should be a federal law that supersedes this. So regardless of what they do in the House of Assembly, it really doesn't really mean make a difference.
What I see with this one is an extension of the immunity clause from the Constitution into when the governor is no longer immune, when he's lost that immunity post-elections. So the governor, as Miriam said, has lost elections, and now they passed a bill in the State House of Assembly to stop any tribunal from investigating him after he's left office. That is extending the immunity clause, and to such extent, it is null and void.
So this doesn't affect EFCC's investigation.
Exactly.
This doesn't affect...
I don't even understand how how the law is supposed to be couched to cover that. They are saying that, I guess he's saying, the new governor cannot probe using the tribunal that the governor has set up. And that is wrong. Every governor can come into office and investigate the resources that, and how they were spent before he came in. Because he's going to answer to people how he utilizes it. So we need people
in Bauchi, citizens, because the idea is we bring up this issue so you know. You can't say you don't know. So what are you doing? Talk to the lawmakers within your state.
Representing you.
No, they are representing you. Are you in support of this bill? Did you push them to bring up this bill? Why are they changing what we already have in the Constitution?
It brings an issue of the fact that we have rubber stamps. Because in actual fact, your State House of Assembly is supposed to check the executive. But where we are having the State of Assembly and the executive working hand in hand, then there's nobody checking each other.
Working hand in pocket.
Making the governor extremely powerful. And we can't have that. The idea is whenever the governor makes any decision or wants to push a policy that does not favor the people, the House of Assembly is supposed to fight him or represent people is speaking up concerning it. Anything that makes the governor, we already fight the impunity, the fact that the governor is immune right now. We have immunity as governors. We're fighting that it does not make you be able to check the governor when you feel the governor is corrupt. He has that 8 years or 4 years to remain in power, even if he's stealing money every year until he completes power.
So it goes back to who's paying.
You know what? My own, I was thinking, I said, what does he plan to gain? Because as we said, EFCC can still, probe him if it comes to that. But the thing is, what do we do now as individuals, as indigenous of Bauchi State? What can they do?
What Bayelsa did.
Yeah, what Bayelsa, you can come out, you can protest, but also I think we should really look at this recalling of legislators. You know, if you do something like that, recall them, let them understand that there's a repercussion for some of the things that you push.
So thank you, Miriam, for bringing us to recalling. So we deserve the leaders that we elect, and we deserve the leaders that we leave in office. Now, these are a set of representatives of their people in Bauchi State, sitting with the governor and doing the governor's business against the will of the people.
Allegedly.
As against the will of the people. Okay, let's say it's alleged. Who is going to benefit
from this?
The
governor.
Only the governor.
Or whoever stole.
Whoever stole is going to benefit from this. So, which is why, and we say the same sense of morality is the same everywhere. These House of Assembly members already are supposed to be, people who will have the conscience of the people. And they're supposedly sitting in a meeting and approving this, and it's passed first and second and third reading
in one day.
That's really sad. Please, Bauchi citizens.
The only reason we're discussing this.
It goes back to why NFIU was saying that the legislature and the judiciary must become independent. Because just like the Oba had said last week, they pay us. They are the ones. They are on the payroll of the executive. So once the legislature and the judiciary are independent, hopefully there won't be rubber stamps. All right. Unfortunately, that's all we can take. So now that we've addressed this issue, or we've mentioned the issue, citizens in Bauchi, please go and ask your lawmakers who sent their message.
Yes, those 13 especially.
Those 13. Actually, they didn't have a quorum.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
That's it. They didn't have a quorum.
Can the others come and contest this?
Of course. He didn't pass quorum. They didn't have quorum, and whatever they decide cannot meet law, cannot make law.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, another hot topic that is bothering a lot of Nigerians because they can't go to America because of this matter. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, United States President Donald Trump has reportedly made its first move in a total clampdown on the U.S. visas for Nigerians. It first started with the immediate indefinite suspension of interview waivers for visa renewals for applicants in Nigeria, known as Dropbox. Now, what advice do we have for Nigerians in diaspora and those planning to relocate? Please call us on 070-806-6814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So aside from this Dropbox issue that recently happened, we hear there are more policies coming out very soon because Nigeria is the third, amongst others, of citizens who refuse to return. I think about 29,000 still overstaying. And everybody knows somebody that's overstayed. Every one of us on this table. And there's no one person. You don't know anybody?
No.
At least we all know somebody. That's say, oh, we're relocating. I just carried their bags and left and in the US. And you're thinking,
some did not even say they're relocating.
They just
went for visits.
And
then they just started shipping their load.
This is affecting people who actually want to travel proper for normal visits, and have no intentions of overstaying, and it's affecting the rest of us. So let's discuss it because a lot of Nigerians have started going back and forth saying, "Oh, it's not their fault. Nigeria is bad." But even if the economy is bad, is that enough to travel to another man's country and just overstay?
You know what? It's not only about overstaying. There are stories of Nigerians. You go there, you use their medical, you go to the hospital and you don't pay bills, and then you come back. These are things that we cannot even do in our country. In our country, when you go to a hospital, you must pay before any doctor sees you. And then you go to a country where they treat you based on trust. And then you leave bills that have been unpaid and you come home. So for me, I feel that this is a long time coming. We deserve it. It's unfortunate, of course, for Nigerians who have legitimate business going and who do not have any reason to overstay or not pay their bills. But that's the thing about silence. If good people keep silent, when the repercussion comes, everybody would face it.
Yeah, it's even more unfortunate that we have to give our citizens reasons to think this is a way out. To think that, you know, to illegally immigrate into somebody's country and illegitimately overstay in that country is the way out. Because if things were working, it won't be an option. Nigerians will do well here. Recently, there was a report of a Nigerian footballer based in the UK or somewhere in Europe who wanted to play with our national team here, and someone within the national team asked him to pay. He put it online, and I expect that, what's his name? And the people at what's our NFF, our people, and you know, all of them will do something to find out whoever it was who was doing this kind of serious damage to us. But the matter just lied down because, you know, it's corruption, of course, and cabal movement within the NFF. Nobody is investigating. So if that person, for instance, was in Nigeria and had a reason to land somebody else's country, he would stay.
You know, and sometimes people need information. People just generally lack information about these things. Because when I heard about this story, I was willing to share my own story because I traveled at a young age. I didn't have control over my status. It was my parents not knowing the repercussions of taking me at the age of 15 out of this country and not ensuring I had the right papers. Till today, it has affected me. So if you think you can travel abroad and just overstay, yes, you get the initial, you get into the system, but eventually, after a while, it bites you back.
Because you don't have documents.
Because you don't have the right documents. So there's a long-term effect to these things, and people need to begin to open up and speak about their experiences so that people know the repercussions that can actually happen.
Yes.
For me, this is the repercussion of silence, number one, is the repercussion of us not understanding that one person doing a bad thing paints all of us bad.
One bad egg.
One bad egg. Everybody is bad. The fact that one person is a Nigerian, she's a Nigerian, the 29,000 Nigerians thought that they were sorting themselves. But in actual fact, they have dented the image of 22 million, I want to say 22 million, hundreds of millions of Nigerians. And we are being judged, and I cannot fault America for doing what they did, or what they are doing, or what they've done, or what they will do. Because we've had 29,000 ambassadors who could have represented Nigeria well, but chose to selfishly focus on themselves, regardless of other people that will also be suffering now. So the repercussion now is that everybody needs to go for interviews, and you will be scrutinized like you are a thief. You will be embarrassed. On a normal day, when you go with your green passport and you get into a new country, the look is, do you have Indomie there? That's what they asked me. Oh, you have dry fish. Check very well. Why? Because many Nigerians traveling to the US, knowing they shouldn't carry a lot of all this food stuff, would still smuggle it in and not declare it. So when I say I don't have anything that I shouldn't have, they will go through my bag with toothpick because they feel like you are in Nigeria, you would have lied. You have put something into your bag.
Let's go back to, because I mean, our phone lines are a bit down because of the rain, so we apologize that we can't get through. Let's go to the issue of silence. People, when it comes to the issue of visa, traveling abroad, people just keep hush-hush. And it affected me. Many of you know already that when I was going to have my first child, I did not ask for information. I was like the average Nigerian. Keep quiet, though. Yes, you took your visa, just go to the US and everything. I kept quiet about it. Unfortunately, I was foolish to think that you're supposed to hide your pregnancy. I got to the point of entry. They asked me, are you pregnant? I said, I'm not pregnant. The woman looked at me, Open your bag. I opened my bag, and she saw the documents that I was pregnant. And of course, immediately I was detained, and they sent me back. And it has affected me till today. So is that silence? Let's not tell anybody we're traveling. Because if you share information, that listen, if you travel abroad, these are the stages, these are the things you can do to legalize your stay. I have family members that have traveled abroad, and they legalize their stay. Either with this, they got a student visa, they're able to pay for their school fees. They came in the right way, and then it just helped the kids, because when the children now get to the point of want to enter university, they can apply for scholarships. But if you go in as an illegal migrant, you can't do jack. Once you after your secondary school, that's it, you're stuck, because you can't even go to university. How much are you earning? You'll be stuck with just a secondary school certificate.
Well, you're very correct, and Tokwe also said something very correct, because it seems like it's about us Nigerians. Recently, I found out that as a Nigerian, you do not need visa to enter South Africa. Imagine that. Whereas you have to go to embassy in Nigeria. You do not need visa to, as a Nigerian, it's even faster to get your visas with your passport to go to the US or the UK. But in Nigeria, it's a different ball game. The cost of the ticket flying out of here is more expensive than when you buy it in Ghana or in Niger, just down across the road from Cotonou there. It's heartbreaking the way we've allowed our certain bad eggs continue to represent us out there to this extent that, that people now think when it's a Nigerian, you need to give them shit back. They take, treat them bad, all these kind of things. I personally believe that death is better than slavery. I would not subscribe to somebody, demeaning or, giving me one racist attitude. So, which is why I always say, I don't believe in going to the embassy.
Morning, David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to contribute to this. Precisely, it's good to travel abroad, and a lot of people have gone legally and they'll be able to do one or two things. The only challenge is there is this. If everybody needs to go to the embassy, I don't think it's a challenge for everyone to go there to go for interview, because before this day, everybody has been going to the embassy for interview, and after the interview, they will tell you if your visa is granted or not. If that scenario is still playing by, I think we should be able to, sorry, please have a cough. I think everybody should be able to just accept that.
Okay.
If you want to go to the US, you need to go to the embassy, you need to go for the interview. Right. And if your visa is granted.
But David, do you understand that this is going to reduce the amount of people that travel, because before you get an appointment, first of all,
Right,
it
there's no
slows down the
appointment
process.
to August. There is no appointment now, as in from March. There is no dates. You can't pick a date to travel till August. So if somebody wants to go and give birth, and there are a lot of people that want to do that legitimately, or someone wants to have a business, or you're going for a conference, if you're trying to apply for a conference in August, you can't get a date until after August. So it might look like, it's a normal thing, there's no problem. But when you clog the system, which is what we have now, everybody is going to queue up there for months to apply for a visa. And the idea is when I'm traveling, I'm going to spend my money. Like, I would literally change my money. I'm going to do you, well, I'm enjoying your facility. I'm spending I'm improving your economy. But it is the silence, Morayo. You mentioned that we have a culture of silence where people would see what is wrong and they will not say it. We have a culture of beating the system and thinking that we have done something grand. More escape, Nisha. So my husband traveled and everybody kept asking him that, so let's help you arrange. Let's help you arrange. So the idea is they don't expect that you want to go back. So some Nigerians in America are profiteering off this, helping and advising you on how you can overstay. You want to still go back to Nigeria after you have seen America. Don't go back. So we are encouraging the corruption because we have a system of, let's beat the system.
Yeah. Let me take this call from the UK. Morning, are you there? Hello? We lost that call. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue. Take more calls on tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we'd like to take some tweets on this issue. Let's get people's views. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, he says, Omo Gola Hambab says, we brought this whole mess upon ourselves. The crazy attitude of wanting to go outside and beating the system. Lots of persons engage in so many shenanigans that bring shame to Nigeria as a country and Nigerians as a people. Andrew in Streatham says, repercussion of doing Odu, lying to the back teeth about everything. This is a nation that has 100 churches and mosques per square mile.
Talking about churches, I've gone to so many events where the pastor will say, they will do prayer for you and you get a visa. And the pastor will say, my whole family has relocated abroad. If you want to, and he was really, really saying with the pastor, my family are in abroad, they're eating burger. If you want to come forward, and I'm thinking, Okay, when you say relocate abroad, is it like a 2-year visa, visiting visa you're giving, and you're now going to go and sit down there? I mean, these are illegal migration.
Yes, you know what, Mariah, that's the thing. We publicly defend bad behavior. And we've done it with Yahoo. You would say something, you would think that it would immediately cause, shock. And Nigerians have ways to defend and justify it. So I'm happy the American is teaching. For those who don't know, you grew up in a society where people are defending bad behavior. Now you can see that there are repercussions. If Nigerians are not giving enough.
Trump is also changing this. Once you give birth abroad, you become a citizen. That's going to change pretty soon.
Yeah, he's already said that when he comes back, they're going to also change citizenship upon delivery. So what a lot of Nigerians benefit now, which is when you immediately go there. There are even speculation that it would even repeal
a lot of visas.
The past 5 years.
Can you
so
do that,
if you can, if you are not residing in America and you have a child in the past 5 years, your child would lose citizenship. And it's their country; they can do whatever they want to do. However, let's before I know we should bash ourselves because indeed we have brought this upon ourselves, but we should also realize that Nigeria has contributed immensely to the American economy.
Yes,
and we have done great things for them, which is not ascribed to Nigeria because when something is good, they'll say the Nigerian American. The Nigerian-born American. But when it is a crime, then they'll say the Nigerian the immigrants from Nigeria. Yeah. So we have many in science, in sports, people that have added value to what America represents now, that are also immigrants. So you can't just say because of the few bad eggs, and it is minute as compared.
You made a good point, but
yes.
You see the strength of our, who is defending us? Oh. Who is that making the case?
Our
80-year-old plus.
He's 81.
He's 81 now. The people who are representing us in the US, are they competent enough? Are they able to highlight these facts? To put our stand saying that Nigerians should be treated with some respect. Yes, we have 29,000 that have refused to come home, but there's got to be a way. We can find a way to ensure that we reduce the number and we do it amicably, such that it doesn't affect other Nigerians who are legitimately going there to do legit businesses.
I think everybody keeps saying that the cost to get visas and travel is quite high. So when Nigerians do apply, please, if they do not get the visas, find a way to refund them or give them a percentage, which I agree. I think that makes sense.
Who's going to find that for us?
It will be the foreign minister. So we have a foreign affairs minister. They are the ones that They relate with every foreign ministry, every foreign consulate, all of those people that are in Nigeria and relating with those abroad. So I think that it's about the foreign affairs ministry. However, we are in transition. We're about to move to, it's still the same administration, but there will be change in who's going to be in power between now and the next 3 months. So I'm sure that a lot of people are still wondering, I don't know if I'll be in this position, what will I do now? But we have a foreign affairs minister that can represent us properly in this kind of situation. So I'm expecting something should happen.
There's almost nothing that the ambassador can do to change what
the minister,
the foreign minister can do, or the ambassador to America can do to change how what they charge us for the visas that we go there. Because something that is in demand, of course, will go up. So they're making money from our desperation to leave our country, to leave the hardship that our government has brought upon us. I think that's the only thing they can do.
And guys, there are many more countries in the world.
Make the country better for us.
It's unfortunate. It's so unfortunate that the rains are out and the phone lines are jammed. I know lots of people would have liked to comment on this, but we'll still probably bring it up in the future because we know Trump has not. He's not done yet. There are lots of policies coming that are going to affect Nigeria, so we'll definitely talk about it in the future. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, an issue that affects you and I, FRSC. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we've just packed the U.S. Embassy matter. We'll bring it up later. But let's move on to an issue that concerns us. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Lagos Sector Command, begins Operation Show Your Driver's License today. Hey, according to reports, it's aimed to reduce the high incidence of motorists driving without valid driver's license in the state, as most motorists who apply for license never care to go back to pick it up. Now, what are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 07080. We have with us the Sector Commander, FRSC, Lagos State, our dear friend, Mr. Hyginus Omeje. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, ladies.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you again.
It's a pleasure to have you, Oga. So you started, we saw your family members on the road.
Yes.
On the express.
Doing what they are being paid to do.
In this rain, they would have scattered. but you started this campaign, obviously, we understand the reasons.
Yes.
But how effective do you think staying on the road highways would be in ensuring people get their driver's license?
Exactly.
All over the world, enforcement is something you cannot shy away from if you must force down your traffic laws and regulation down the throat of the citizenry. So what we are even witnessing is that I think this got to this stage because hitherto enforcement had been weak. If enforcement were to be very strong, you dare not even dream about leaving your house, entering your car without checking your whether your driver's license is with you or not. That is the requirement all over the world.
Okay.
So it's going to be very effective. It's already effective because I started at the toll gate before coming here. So some people have already been...
my own personal, I got my driver's license just last weekend.
Okay.
I applied for it 2017.
Okay.
Good.
Maybe,
And
maybe 31st of December 2017.
No. Well, it's 2019. 2 years. So my problem is this. When I applied, I was given a temporary one and was asked that, and I was told that I would be called. I went several times to the office that I made, that I did, took my biometrics, and they keep saying, we have not called you, don't come. And now, until 2019, finally, good for you, someone called me 2 years later to tell me to come and collect it. And when I got there, they're like, where have you been all these years? I said, but you told me not to come until you called me, and it's taking you 2 years. And they showed me stacks and stacks of driver's license that people are not aware. So people do not even know that they are meant to go back to collect this. Maybe we need to talk about telling people more.
So have you called people?
Yes.
Yes.
They are now calling because they want to do operation.
This calling you just said is, we looked at people applied, they are not coming back to pick it, and we look at the system, say what must have gone wrong. Definitely an SMS must have been sent before now. Is it a network failure or whatever it is? We do not know. We have so many factors that can be attributed to that. We have people who use X number to apply for this license. They quoted this number. Perhaps when the license is out, they are no longer using that number. Something has happened and things.
So are you saying that if you fall in that bracket?
If you, what we now did was partnering with Motor Vehicle Licensing Authority. And I need to, Mariah, I need to state something clearly because we, FRSC, have carried the loads, both the ones that are his and those that are not his. I must make due to say that the job of actually, the function of giving this license to the motorists does not really lie within the purview of the FRSC. But because FRSC is at the center of it, everybody just feels it's a tripartite arrangement. When you make the application, you start from the licensing office, then to the VIO. FRSC is at the back end just to pick your biometrics for the purposes of our enforcement and all that things. Then if it comes out, if we finish printing it, if it's printed out, it goes back again to the licensing office, whose job it is actually to give the license to the people. When we discovered that they were not, either the thing was overwhelming on them, we now approached them and said, can we be of helping hand here? And that was when you notice that there's an FRSC person there where you were. It is those FRSC persons that now decided to, we said, go ahead. We gave them phones, call everybody. They are taking it one by one, calling on a daily basis. Fantastic. And that's why you are seeing.
So my question to you, should you use the initiative to go and ask for it, or just assume wait for that call? Mariah,
you can use your initiative to go and ask. Let me tell you one thing. We gave you a temporary license that says 60 days. We have even surpassed the 60 days. We have surpassed. That is that within 60 days, even 30 days, it can come out. So if you go in, is there. What we have been witnessing, and let me come clean here, is the usual apathy to work that you get in civil service, where somebody just sits he has forgotten how it took him or her to get this job. Suddenly he gets this job. He becomes one king of kings, and that will not be.
Thank you for saying this.
Then he now sits there. You come in. You just.
They become constitutional authorities.
It's not yet out. He has not even taken the pain to check. And we also have case of corrupt elements, I must say, who It's not yet out. Yes. But the moment you flick 500 naira note like this, it will not take the pain to go and start checking these things. It cuts across. We have to call it a spade.
There's another problem.
Our fingerprints?
And we are fighting all those things. Even at the licensing office, they are also fighting those people. If the manager of a station discovers that the person he puts on a desk is not up and doing, he removes him and brings another person.
There's an additional problem of why our licenses might not be ready when it should. When you're doing the renewal, you might have changed your phone number. You're supposed to fill a new form, to go and we fill the form. You go, you fill it, you pay online and do all the works. I did all the process and I put in my regular number, which I usually have. And I noticed that I didn't get an SMS. I went to the office, they said it wasn't ready until I, sought your help to get it. The same attitude, everything you mentioned here, I experienced up until collection. Now, if at the point of renewal, you are still doing data capture, and I'm giving you information that you cannot enter, but you still rely on the old information, why is it a renewal then? Why is it not just, the old process? Why is it a fresh application? Because at the point I still give you you capture my data all over, you do that, and you still don't input the information.
Let me correct something here. Why do we capture? You have the option of to recapture, and you also have an option not to recapture. If everything you have supplied us is the same. There is a provision in that form when you are filling it. It's a place they will say bypass. If you tick bypass, it bypasses. The system automatically jumps the issue of capturing, and it goes straight to the print form.
Then you are advised.
But if
then you are advised by your officials.
If you want to recapture, you now recapture for obvious reasons like what you said. Maybe there are changes, but you know that there are limited changes that they can effect. Yes, we can effect a change in your telephone number, we can effect a change in your address, and all those stuff, but we can't effect change in your name because we don't know how name will just suddenly, those ones takes procedure. If it's that you have married and you have attached no necessary documents, it has to get up there before it can be changed. You understand what I'm saying? Now, but if you did all those things and it delayed, one other thing I must also point out is the issue of gender. We have had cases where people mistakenly, instead of Mrs. or Miss, it puts Mr. We are looking at a photograph that is a female, and this thing is telling us Mr. That is a gender issue. That license will never come out. The system will dictate it and pin it, flag it down. Again, if Mariah has applied when she was in Enugu, and she gets to Lagos, she feels that the Enugu one was delaying, and comes to Lagos and reapplies again. The system recognizes it as a double application, and it flags it down. None will come out until
But I had a friend whose both came out.
No, that's
what I want to ask is why we're capturing twice. Like, okay, is it that because somebody would have added weight or they would have, why are we capturing twice? If I'm renewing, I don't expect that because you already have a lot of work. The entire process of getting driver's license is overclocked with work and understaffed, because they always come there, you see the staff looking like, we have been doing this is morning, we have not even had time to eat, buy us food. Maybe that is an excuse, but why should you now recapture all over again? Like when you do your ATM, you don't need to recapture, they just automatically print a new one for you.
The choice is yours. The choice is yours.
If my passport is going to, if my driver's license is going to expire by my birthday next year, you should automatically, I should get in,
I said if you want to renew, tick bypass. It will bypass.
So I won't be taking picture or doing.
You're not getting
Does she have to even come?
If you say bypass, if you click bypass, it will not go.
What she's trying to say, sir, is that you do not have to appear. Like what the banks do, they send you an SMS ahead. Your ATM expires in a month.
You don't have to appear.
You have your data, everything already with the agency. You do not have to reappear in front of the agency for that. They said that there's this new requirement of the.
In our own too, you don't need to, except if you want. If you say bypass capture, it bypasses you. But if you did not take bypass capture, you have to come again. And there are people have, for obvious reasons, people want to. Maybe the time he took the other one, he was looking like one Atinga. And now he's now looking very well. And he wants to, he didn't like the initial picture. He wants to take it again and things like that. People may have obvious reasons for wanting to.
So, hygienist, how long is this inspection going to take? I mean, just 2 weeks, 1 week, or more, or just continuous?
The exercise for a start is 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we'll sit down and evaluate the effectiveness. You understand?
How
then we will
would you
now
evaluate?
Oh.
The amount of people that came to collect
As they are doing it now, we're taking note of how many vehicles we stopped and checked. Okay. Out of that number, how many had valid driver's license and how many did not have valid driver's license? How many were driving with temporary slips? Okay. How many were we able to issue ticket? If you do these things for 2 weeks, remember that before now, like you, we have been calling. We have been doing calling system now for 2 weeks. We did that one for 2 weeks, and now brought enforcement to it for another 2 weeks. You now look at it. Have there been any significant difference by way of this enforcement? People now coming.
So tell us the punishment. So, for example, you have you have not gone to pick up the new driver's license. What happens? Are you the one? Are they going to be, their car's going to be impounded, or are they going to be arrested for that? Or those who actually they never apply and they don't have a driver's license at all? What are the various sanctions
you don't have a driver's license at all.
Right.
That one is instant citation. Issue ticket immediately.
How much?
And the fine is 10,000 naira.
Okay.
Then those who are driving with expired slip,
it's expired. Okay.
we keep the vehicle. Go and collect it. When you collect it, we release the vehicle for you. Those who don't have anything. No.
So people like her, she just stopped before. You'd have kept her car.
We have kept your car and now go. The whole thing is that we need to compel people to really go and pick that license. Most people in Lagos, the whole excuse is always the same. I don't have time. I don't have time. But if I say that in FRSC Ojodu, we are giving 1 million naira, first come, first serve.
Maybe we should do that.
People will come and sleep overnight there. If I say, as soon as it is 5 a.m., we'll start distributing 1 million naira. I can assure you that by 4 a.m., people will come and line up.
Those who have expired.
If it is expired and you have not renewed it, that one is also instant citation because you are driving with expired license.
So don't drive to the office if you have expired license.
I want to ask one.
No, not just drive to the office. Okay, drive to your office.
To your office?
No, to every office.
Okay, so sometimes you have on the cards misspelled names and things like that, and when you need to use it for other things, you know, it brings a problem, you know. So what do you do when you have your name misspelled on your license?
Let me say this. The issue of misspelled names should not even be if the process were strictly adhered to. What the issue is when you finish, you are the one that supplied us the name, and they fed the name in. But even when you come for capture, the operator owe it a duty to say, check these names and check all your distance. But I also understand what happens. You can tell people to check, they'll just look at the computer like this and they tell you everything is okay. He didn't see anything. And you now go ahead and press that final send.
Okay, so when it happens, what do you do?
But if it happens, you do a write-up.
Okay.
We do a write-up and it will be corrected at the print farm end. But there is one thing that we are quarreling with. Somebody just coming up and changing names for no reason that we cannot understand. You want to now change to what led to that? I cannot be married to a woman that will cause me to change my name. So what is it that I'm now changing? We also know that some fraudulent people who open several bank accounts with different names, and also so we also resist those kind of changes.
Let's talk about serious, genuine cases of, you know, unnecessary delay for years. So there are cases of driver's licenses with you for a long period of years.
Yeah.
Maybe before they are ready and they never do get ready. What exactly are the policies that you have put in place now because of this new policy of show your license to ensure that people quickly now get their licenses? Are they going to be decongesting and calling people as soon as possible? Or is there a new team within the collection office looking into all those backlog of licenses that they have and calling on people?
I've said it, but let me re-emphasize it. That in the first instance, you giving it out does not lie within our purview. But because it's a teamwork, we said we are partnering with the licensing office, VIO, and FRSC. We have even raised our own personnel to go into the licensing offices to give them a helping hand. What we want to eliminate is this apathy. I must tell you, this is something that needs, I don't know the day you'll be able to discuss it. This is something that needs to be discussed seriously, and we need a change of attitude in this country. Somebody who have been going from one prayer meeting to the other looking for a job suddenly gets a job, and you put him to serve the public. He has forgotten that he's a servant first and foremost. That's why we call it public servant. We are all public servants. That servant was not by accident. You are there to serve others. And he just sits down there and he's not willing to do the work he is being paid for. So we have to now bring in our men to give a helping hand. In the center you went to, if you must be honest, you saw an FRSA official there. He is the one taking the pain to call and ensure that people
it's
are
only in Lagos.
Then secondly, this enforcement is part of it. Like I told you, if enforcement had been strict and stringent as it's supposed to be, I'm telling you that that number would not have been what it is. For any point in time you drive from here to there, you see an official of a traffic police officer, LASMA, VIO, asking you where is your driver's license. You will know that you just need to.
Is this exercise only in Lagos, so other states are going to adopt this? Well,
I'm Lagos State Sector Commander, and I'm doing things that
this is your own initiative.
This is my initiative, but I know that other states are also doing similar things in their own way.
So I wanted to ask about the challenges of the driving outside this operation, and I know you came here to address the operation, show your driver's license. However, is this operation going to cover the public transport people, the yellow buses and all of that? Because we see them obviously driving one way. We see them doing things they shouldn't be doing that should be curtailed by your agency, but it doesn't seem like they are curtailed. It seems like your agency deals more effectively with private citizens that can afford to, and you're not facing them at all. That's number one. Number two, do you have regulations over everything that drives, like the keke napep and the motorcycles? Because those ones too obviously have no. They don't obey any rule or regulation. They feel like
have driver's license. They don't have license. They have license.
Everybody have his own class of license. Now, let me say this. There is no immunity to traffic laws. The fact that somebody is doing something negative or contrary to what he's supposed to do, we still have some of us who are educated, yet we are doing things contrary to even our professions where we all came from, and we are certified professionals in those regards. I think the issue of what you see on our road is about our attitude. And you see this go through all systems, not just
the one I'm
driving.
talking about, yellow buses. You
Those
see yellow
buses that you see driving against the flow of traffic. The only thing is, I don't know why your eye is only seeing the yellow buses. I also see Prados driving against the flow of traffic. But the yellow buses, they are not immune. They are also caught. If you come to my office, you will see yellow buses. I told it because the man refused to drive. I told it at the toll gate before I got here. So it's not as if anybody is immune. But let me be honest with you. In enforcing the law, you do it in such a way that you do not create crisis. It's like now coming out today and say you want to clamp down on all the yellow buses in Lagos. I tell you, the same Lagosians you are fighting their interests are the ones that are going to fight you. If I wake up today now and say all these BRT buses that we even see now, they have started deteriorating, then you want to take all of them, people stay on the road, they start shouting it is FRSA. So you keep on doing it a little to the right, a little to the left.
Okay, so somebody is asking, Adedeji Moyifim, sorry, what is the actual price of a driver's license in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, for you to get a driver's license, there are two prices involved. Perhaps I am renewing. I'm renewing to 3 years. That 3 years is 6,350. I want to renew to 5 years, so that in the next 5 years, nobody disturbs me. That is 10,450. I am a fresh applicant, and you only get 3,000 for the start. Then you can subsequently renew to 5 years as the case may be.
Dipolawa says, I think this is another operation in the wrong direction. Why don't you give them a call or find alternatives to reach them? You are just giving some of your men the chance to extort the public. The FRSC Nigeria at Ekpe, Ibeju will suffer in the hands of your men with this reckless kabu-kabu.
Another question here. Ire Nitemi says, please, I was given a Class D driver's license, but motorcycle was written on it. The officer said the mistake is from Abuja. What should I do, please? Will I be disturbed on the road?
You'll be please let the person make a report, a formal report, and attach a copy of it and forward it to our office. It will be treated. Well, I don't think there's any system you are operating. We are yet to import angels to work in Nigeria. As long as they are still manned by human beings, I expect that there is always elements of human error, if not for anything, 0.5.
People have complained that the fact that you're searching causes a whole lot of traffic on the road, you know. So is there a clever way you plan to do the checks, or because people are afraid that once the FRSA on the road like this, You know, there's traffic.
A very, very clever way, let me borrow that your word, is that we have given a directive. You don't stop more than 2 vehicles at a time. When you are done with those 2, allow them to go. What are we going to actually do within these 2 weeks? It is just random sampling. Because there is no way you can come like this and say you block the road. Everybody that is coming here must show me your driver's license. Right. You know, maybe when I see Morayo and the face is somehow, I say, pull over. Then I'll check Morayo. Meanwhile, she would have gone, and she would have also gone and gone. And when I finish with you, another person will be there. Then let me address the fear of the person that said it's going to be used as a means of extortion. I want to debunk that. In the press release I released, very senior officers are also on ground to monitor the junior ones to ensure that they do not exceed, their excesses as portrayed. And I also said, even if somebody did any other thing, for the sake of this exercise, you can carry overload. I will decide, I prefer that they look the other way, concentrate on what we are doing. Right. Don't come and start asking for other
I must say that I was driving on the expressway and I was stopped by FRC. I was using a phone. Now, it was wrong. And they stopped me right in the middle of the express. It was that bad. I didn't see them. Right in the middle of the express. They stopped me. As a Nigerian, I was like, oh, Ghana. They didn't want to answer. They really wanted me, they wanted to arrest me.
Over, yeah.
I had to beg Nima. I called Nima. Okay, Nima, please now, I beg. Who can I call? But I applaud your guys. They did their job the way they should have done. They were not willing to listen to any. I had just
even I paid for
plead and plead. Eventually, I paid for that. But it was important to make that note.
Yes,
let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll take some calls and tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us.